I believe we are live. Hopefully you can see me and you can hear me. Happy Monday. Welcome for those of you who are watching. Let's just get my windows up so I know what's going on. Chat. Hope you guys are all right, having a good day. Right, so I'm just getting my chat window up so I can see what you guys are saying. Good afternoon, Chitan. You must be connecting because you've sent a message. I'm seeing a message. Hopefully you can see that. I believe you're new. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce your name because I always butcher people's names, so I won't try that one. Hopefully you guys are all right. Type in the chat if you've got a test this week coming up. So type in the chat if you've got a driving test or theory test, just let me know. And what day you've got it on, which day you got it on. Hello there, how are you? Hope you are doing good. I'm doing good. I hope you are too. Hope you're doing well. Hope you took my advice and started to study your categories. That's the simplest way to, when you fail a test, is just go back to basics, do the categories and go from there. So hopefully that's going all right. If it's not, let me know in the chat. Oh, you booked it for Friday. Are you feeling confident? Are you passing mock test? I'm assuming because you booked it for Friday, you are practicing mock test still. Let me know. Good afternoon. Flat to be here. Oh, hopefully you know what you mean by that. But you are welcome. Joe Taylor, not seen your name pop up before. Good afternoon, hope you are well. Anthony, you got a test 25th of May. That's this week, right? 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, Thursday? AM or PM? I did mine today, this morning by 9 AM after my night shift. Wow, really exhausted. How did you get on? Pass or fail? Got a 24th of May, 10 AM again this week. AM test, which is, for me personally, I think that's a good time. Friday 26. Right, for those of you who've got a test coming up, let me know if you've got any issues, any questions. I can answer it live while you're here. And hopefully to put that to bed so you can go in there 100% confident. If there is anything as 100% confident. Where can I get the mock test to do? Where can I get the mock test to do? Apps, use apps or go online. There's quite a few online, go for the apps. That's where you get your mock test. Good afternoon. Mock test 50 and 44 later afternoon, got 39. Okay, so it's going down. It should be consistent. But you booked it. Just go and see what you can do. But yeah, keep studying for Friday. Don't just relax. AM tests. Okay. I'm just a believer of AM tests. We tend to book our students for AM because it just stops them from stressing out all day, which unfortunately for this week's students, it's actually 4 o'clock. We couldn't get an AM slot, so they got it 4 PM, which is not good, in my opinion, anyway. But such is life. They will be trained well enough to pass it, so they should still pass anyway. I've got to attend. I'm glad you can attend. Again, if you've got any questions and issues, let me know. I have a question. I was trying to book a practical test date. I can't even one. I don't know what that means. I was confused. Any tips? I'm not sure what the IDK means. If you can explain what the IDK means, I can give you advice on that. Good afternoon, Abby. 3rd of July, 11 a.m. 3rd of July. Got quite a long time to go. So you've got plenty of time to study. How's the studying going for you at the moment? Rebooked my ferry for June 30th, 9. Again, an AM test. That's pretty good, Crystal. I rebooked. Is that because you failed the first one or you cancelled the previous one? Just let me know. Driving lesson 12 to 2, Friday, 4 p.m. Thursday. Let me just clarify, I'm understanding that you got a driving lesson 12 to 2 p.m. and your theory test is at 4 p.m. Just type yes if I'm correct in saying that. Driving lesson 12 to 2, theory at 4. Challenge is road signs. What's the challenge with road signs? Let me know if you can explain it in the chat. Passed my theory test last week, Thursday. Well done for passing. Multiple choice, 50 out of 50. Wow. Yes, Joshua, yes. Sorry, yes. You did contact me. Well done to you. I just haven't got round to replying. Yes, sorry. Well done to you. And thanks for coming back on the live and showing this up as well. 59 out of 75. Yeah, sorry, Joshua, I just not had time to respond to any emails as such and Instagram. I will get around to you guys who are sending requests and everything else. I'm doing 101 things. I will suggest turning up next week's live. I've got a big announcement. If it all goes well, I've got a big announcement for you guys, but I can't announce it yet because I'm just dotting the I's, crossing the T's. So turn up next Monday. I will have a big announcement, especially for those of you guys who got theory tests coming up and who are struggling. So turn up. Sorry, IDK means I don't know. Right. Let me, go back to your message. Right. So this is about the driving test, wasn't it? So I'm just trying to find that comment. It's right at the beginning. So I'm just trying to find the comments. Give me a moment. I think it was this one. Right, I have a question. I was trying to book for a practical test date. I can't even one. I don't know. I was confused. Right. I'm assuming you can't get a test date. That's what you're trying to say. You've logged on, you can't get a test date. That's common for everybody, to be fair, because the waiting time, depending on your area, could be up to 6 months. The DVSA only give the dates out, I can't even remember what it is now, 3 to 4 months in advance. So I gave this tip about 2 weeks ago. I give it to you guys that are looking for driving tests, and I give it to you who's trying to book a driving test. Monday mornings, you have to get up early for this. Monday mornings at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. The DVSA release new test dates for every test center, but you need to be online for 6 a.m. Obviously, everyone's trying to do this, so you may need to spend 2 or 3 Mondays trying to do that. Whatever date you get, my advice is to take it. So if it's a long way away, take it. If you've got an instructor and he's willing to go the extra mile for you, he would be able to bargain with other instructors and swap it for you. Obviously, if he's not bothered, then you may need to try to swap it yourself. But you can bring dates forward, you can push dates back, but you need a date first. You've got a better bargaining tool. So let me just repeat that. 6 a.m. Monday morning, the DVSA releases new test dates that's the time to jump online and try to book. And we done that this morning, and I've got 5 different tests for my pupils, so it works because I use it. But like I said, you may have to try 2 or 3 Mondays, because if someone's ahead of you, obviously the internet gets clogged up and everything else. So that's your best bet on that. So hopefully that helped. Right, so let me just catch up with these chats. Getting a driving instructor around Newcastle is a daunting task. How can you help us out on this? I can't help you out. I'm not in Newcastle. And to be fair, every area is the same. There is a shortage of driving instructors because of the pandemic. We just haven't gone back to the levels that it was before. And also, you've got to understand, everybody's trying to pass a driving test. And I have said this before, at this time of year is our busiest year, because when the schools, the unis, everyone breaks up, they want to pass their driving test before they go back. So if you can get an instructor, get them and try to book them up in advance. Ideally, same time, same date, so it becomes a routine and part of your life. If you're going to chop and change, that's when the instructor may let you go, because they prefer someone who's going to be settled Monday, 4:30, like the live is, for example. They know you're booked in solid, rather than Monday this week, Wednesday the following week. It makes it harder to manage their diary. So they will always go for someone who's more stable. That's my advice on that. But it's the same everywhere. It's not just Newcastle. Congratulations on passing your theory. Well done to you, and thank you for coming back and letting me know. After I passed my theory test Thursday, test 45, 50. Congratulations on passing. 46, 44. Last Friday videos that helped me. I'm glad they helped, and thank you for coming back and letting me know that you passed. Because the more that I know you guys are benefiting from the videos, the more I'm going to keep making them. Passed my theory, but trouble with driving lessons, driving straight and approaching right and stopping before the line. Based on what you're saying, you're totally new driver, totally beginner. That's standard. It does get better with practice. There's not much I can say to you with that. It does become better with practice. It depends on the area you're in. In our area, where I'm in Luton, I'm based in North London at the moment because I'm covering someone else at a different branch. North London, that's where we got the 5 tests today, so that wasn't an issue down there. But in Luton, I do know the waiting time is ages, because that's my manor. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start this. For those of you that are new, I always do an overview. For those of you who are regulars, you're going to have to sit for it. Can't help that. I've never seen that you guys know how the theory test works. So it's multiple choice questions, as most of you probably know about now. It's 50 questions. And I will add this sample question. So when you're doing it on the apps or online, it makes no difference. They're sample questions and not the real questions. So when you go for the real test, it's going to be worded slightly different. But as I always say in my videos, if you understand it, you're going to pass no matter how it's worded. If you're memorizing it, you're asking for trouble. You have 57 minutes to do 57 minutes to do 50 questions, but you need 43 to pass. When you go in there, take your time. You're not in a rush. When you do the apps, take your time. You're not in a rush. I had the people this morning do it in 12 minutes flat. Guess what the result was when he clicked finish? It was a fail. And he would have passed it based on what he was saying when we reviewed it back. He made silly mistakes because he misread the question. 12 minutes is way too quick. You're not in a rush to pass your theory test in that sense. So if you have to take 57 minutes, take it. But if you have studied before you went in there really well, it's not going to take you anywhere near 57 minutes. But you don't want to rush it either way. So take your time with that. Hazard perception, which I'm going to cover today. A lot of you are messaging me about hazard perception, still failing that. So I'm going to cover hazard perception with demos, live, obviously. And you need 44 out of 75 to pass the hazard perception. You have to average 3 on every clip. If you average it below 3, you're going to fail. There's 13 video clips. Each of them have a maximum of 5, 1 hazard, 5. And then one of them's got 2 hazards, double hazards, 2 separate 5s. Ideally, you want an 8 or a 9 on your hazard. That would bring your average up if you are getting a couple of 1s and 2s. Well done to you, Joy, for passing, and thank you for coming back and letting me know. Wanna pass my theory pass first, then do my driving lessons? That's your decision. In my opinion, I think it's better to do driving lessons while you're doing the theory, because the two goes hand in hand. When you do the theory, you're going to apply it to the driving while you're driving. The driving is going to reinforce your knowledge based on the theory. It goes hand in hand. But either way, it doesn't really matter, to be fair. But in my opinion, I think it's better to do driving lessons as you're doing the theory. And not only that, when you pass the theory, which I've mentioned before, because you're taking driving lessons, you're going to be further down the line. Again, I use the example I used before. If it's 6 months waiting time, think about this. It's 6 months waiting time, give or take. Let's just call it 6 months. You pass your theory test today, you got 2 years running. So once you pass, your 2 years is ticking. Take 6 months out of 2 years. You already lost 6 months. So you're in a year and a half. If you're going to do 2 hours a week, which is standard to learn to drive, you have no driving experience, it's going to take you 6 to 8 months, depending how fast you learn. If you're a very slow learner, it's going to take you 8 months. 8 plus 6 is 14. You're now into your second year of your theory test certificate. There's no guarantee you're going to pass first time. So the chances are, by doing it that way, you are going to take another theory test if you do not pass your driving test. So you've passed it, then take lessons. Your theory test may run out before you even take a driving test. There's something to think about with that. And especially with driving instructors being hard to find, why not find one now if you can afford it and do the theory test at the same time? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Got my first driving lesson on the 8th of June, which is a few weeks from now. Good luck with that. Let me know, if, William, if you've got driving experience. Let me know if you've got any driving experience. I'm trying to find out those dates, and I want to start planning to drive. I want to learn manual, and I never drive before. How many classes do you think? I can't answer that. I definitely can't answer how much by doing. If you want to do it on a national average, you're looking at 40 plus lessons, and that's no 40 plus lessons you're looking at, and that's if you're a better than average learner. But to be honest, I would have to see you drive to put a figure to that. And even then it's going to be hard, because it also is how you structure the lessons. If you're going to have a lesson this week and nothing for 2 weeks, then another lesson, nothing 2 weeks, it's going to take you longer. For those of you who want to learn to drive, you have to be consistent. Ideally, 2 hours every single week. If you're going to do 1 hour, it's still consistent if it's every week, but it's going to take you twice as long. But ideally, you want a lesson every single week. If you're going to miss weeks, it's going to take even longer. COVID, isn't it? Lockdown, yeah. Okay. So hopefully you just pick it up straight away and get back on it. All right, so let me carry on with this. Has perception. There is no tricks. A lot of people, again, in the classroom this morning, the way it's worded, blah, 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 they're trying to trick us. There's no tricks. The diva say straightforward, black and white, safe or it isn't. There is no tricks. It's worded badly, but there's no tricks with that. What you're looking for is a safety answer. Theory test is black and white. It's always going to be a safe situation that they're going to put you in. With driving, there's grey areas. You just need to turn that grey area into a safe situation when driving. But in the theory test, it's safety. If the answer doesn't lead to safety, the answer's got to be leading to a controlled outcome. Just like the driving test, which is safety, control. That's what the examiner looks for, and that's what the theory test looks for. Just mentioned about the control side of it. Like I said, the answer doesn't lead to safety. It's got to be a controlled outcome. Don't overthink it. Once you overthink it, you're asking for trouble. And don't add things into the question. If the question is A, B, C, D, then that's the information they give you. That's the information you deal with. Do not start adding stuff into the question. Do not start taking stuff out of the question. Once you do that, it's a different question, which means you're going to end up with a different answer with that. And as I always say every week, if you have taken a theory test and you are saying that you failed by 1, failed by 2, watch that video if you haven't, because it's a mindset shift that you need to change. The chances are you're going to fail the second time round if you keep saying you failed by 1, because you're going to study to get the 1. You got 8 questions wrong, which means there's a lack of knowledge. You need to study for the 8 questions. Aim high. If it drops, you're still going to pass anyway. So that's how that works. So let me just catch up with these guys chatting. Ooh, I understand has perception is for actual multiple choice and a reworded question that confuses me sometimes. Totally agree. Once you know what to do that has perception, it will always come down to the questions, because you don't know what 50 questions you're going to get, because it's random questions. All you got to do is try and understand the safety factor behind it. And the little bits, words like emerging, catalytic converter, if you understand what those mean, it gives you a better understanding of the whole test itself. Sometimes the words they use is a little bit outdated or complicated as well. That's why I say it's worded badly. I've done that one, sorry. Right. Yeah, like I said, not everyone can afford driving lessons straight away while they're studying with theory, but you've got to look at the circumstances and try to choose the best solution. If you can drive and study at the same time, it gives you the better chance of passing first time, because like I said, you're actually using it on your driving lessons. Can you answer me questions I can't answer? How long's a piece of string? Like I said, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Hold on, let me tackle this a minute. I had my first lesson today. It was a trial lesson, found a bit challenging, special turning. I take it you've got limited driving experience if you find it challenging. That's probably the reason why. Just type yes in the comments if you've got limited driving experience. Well done, Juliet. I passed my theory, I got 43 out of 50 multiple choice and has position 56 out of 75. Thanks for your teaching. May Almighty God reward you. Thank you. Thank you for coming back and letting me know. Thank you for your kind words. Appreciate that. Right, let me give you a little tip about driving. I've been instructor for 28 years this year, November. And obviously I've seen a lot of cars, how the driving test has changed. I'll be honest with you, teaching you to drive, as in moving the car from A to B, I can do that in the first lesson. My students will drive on the main, when I say main roads, on the back roads, doing left and right turns, first and second gear. That's minimum in the first 2 hours. The hardest bit to teach you guys is stop stressing about everybody else outside the car. It's a mindset thing. I can help you try to relax, but I can't make you stop stressing. Teaching you to drive the clutch, I can do in my sleep. Teaching you about this and stop stressing, that is the hardest part. So once you get comfortable with the car, that's the easy bit, because most cars drive themselves. Get the clutch up without stalling. The onboard computer does what it needs to do. You just guide it. Simple as that. But you guys worry about everything you see outside the windscreen behind you, in front of you, sorry, and then in the rear view mirror. And that's when you stress, and that's when you panic, and that's when you make mistakes. If you can stay calm with what you see in front of you and behind you, you're laughing all day long. But like I said, it's a mindset thing. Driving has changed over the years. It's no longer about teaching you moving the car. That's the easy bit now. The hard bit is trying to keep you guys calm when you're on the main roads. And that's the honest truth. Right, driving lessons for my first time, learned how to set off hill. I was what? But I did and drove around quiet places. My instructor said I'm not bad. Yeah, we always start on the back roads. Like I said, it depends on your learning as well. If you're a fast learner, pretty much in the first, if you was my pupil, in the first 2 hours, maybe 4 hours, I can get you onto the main roads. But the back roads, I can, again, if you're an average learner, I can normally get a pupil doing left and right turns, first and second gear on the very first lesson as well. But like I say, it all depends on whether you've got to understand as well, not everybody learns at the same pace. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're a slow learner, take the driving, be patient with it. Everybody wants to jump in the car, they want to do it now, get now, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. If you get your basics wrong, this is the first few lessons. If your basics wrong, I call it the ABCs, which is your foundation to driving. That's your left and right turns first, second, third gear changes. If that is weak, it's going to collapse when you go onto the main roads. Because when you start panicking, you're going to forget everything that you learned on the back roads. So always get your basics right. Take your time, get it right. You're not in a rush. And the more you get it right, the more confidence you get from that as well. And then your learning just goes that way. But the more you get it wrong, obviously it nosedives. If you get a decent instructor, they keep your confidence up anyway. But all instructors should be doing that. But I've seen instructors who don't. So if you're not happy with the instructor, change them. Right. Will you do driving videos in an automatic car? No, I won't, because I haven't got an automatic car, and it's no different in the manual. You guys have got it easy in automatic. There's no left foot. Everything else stays the same. You just haven't got no left foot, so it's actually easier. Learning to drive is easier. For the driving tests, I won't say it's harder, but there's a little bit more strictness because the car's got what we call creep. When you come into foot brake, the car creeps. Technically, you should be using the foot brake and hand brake together. But again, if you've got a decent instructor, they show you different methods with that. But the automatic and manual lessons are, when I say lessons, the reversing, turning left, turning right is the same, except you haven't got a left foot. I'm having my third test tomorrow. I want to watch more of your hazard perception test video. I do not fail on the 4-in-1 app though, but I have been scoring 56. If you haven't been failing on the hazard perception on the 4-in-1 app, in my opinion, I don't think you have anything to worry about. When my pupils do the hazard perception, normally Tuesday, that's when they start the hazard perception. It could go either way, but once I explain it, demonstrate it, Wednesday onwards, their results go higher and higher in the hazard perception. And I've not had anyone fail a hazard perception for years. I think it's before the pandemic. And that's because she changed her style from the classroom when she went in the test. When you practice, you should be practicing what you preach. You shouldn't be going into the real test, changing anything. That's the whole point of doing mock tests. You practice the way you're going to do it when you go into the test center. And that's your driving as well. Don't change anything. Just because you're on test, you shouldn't be changing anything. But yeah, I've not had anyone fail that has perception in years once they understand what it is they're supposed to be looking for. So technically, if you're not failing the 4-in-1, you should be all right, because it's a lot clearer. They're all CGIs and it's a little bit slower than the apps. Right, so let's start. I'm going to do a random mock test. 20 questions, not time constraint. You guys type in the answer. I'll explain how that goes. But if you've got any questions as we go along, drop it in the chat and I'll try and keep up with it. So I want to share my screen. Right, so the first question, hopefully, let me get my mouse on there. Hopefully you can see my mouse. Right, for those of you that are new, what we do is read the question, answers A, B, C, D, and you just type that in the chat. So first question, you have to make an unexpected journey. You're carrying a 5-year-old child on the back seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches tall. How should you seat them if a correct child restraint isn't available? Sharing a belt with an adult. A, B, using an adult seat belt. C, behind the passenger seat. D, between 2 other children. So type in the chat A, B, or C. Do I have any contacts from Wood Green Test Centre? What do you mean by contacts? Driving instructors or driving examiners? Right, I've got C. Chitan, you change your answer. Which one are you going for, B or C? I got C, B and C. So you seems like most of you are going for B's and C's. So let me just take a look. Sharon, B is using an adult seatbelt. C. For those of you who went for C, why? Why behind the passenger seat? Again, I've got a C. Right, let me just break this down for you. You have to make an unexpected journey. You're carrying a 5-year-old child on the back seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches tall. How should you seat them if a correct child restraint is not available? So a child restraint is not available. How does behind the passenger seat make it safe? That's what you're looking for, is a safe outcome. What you're saying is you're putting them behind the passenger seat, but no seatbelt. Something happens, you brake heavy, they're going to go into the back of the seat. So you're going to use an adult seatbelt. If a child restraint is not available, you still got to use an adult seatbelt like you would do with an adult. Safety. All these answers doesn't lead to safety. At an incident, a casualty is unconscious but breathing. When should you move them? A, when there's a risk of further danger. B, when bystanders tell you to move them. C, when an ambulance is on its way. D, when bystanders offer to help you. Driving examiners need to book a test date, but there's none. Driving examiners don't book test dates, you do. The driving examiners get the dates and just turn up to do your test. As I mentioned, there is no dates. Your Wood Green, the dates that we got to this morning was in Tottenham, the Selby site. So we didn't use Wood Green. Wood Green is a little bit harder to get for some reason. I don't understand, considering it's only about 10 minutes away from each other. But we booked Selby site. And again, 6 o'clock in the morning. That's how we got those. B. I'm assuming this is from the last test because I saw adult seatbelt in between those two. So I'm assuming that B is from the last question. Right, let me go to the bottom and work up. A, and I've got A's. Most of you are going for A's when there's a risk of further. Yeah, I only move someone if there's a risk of further danger because you could be causing more harm than good that you can't see, like neck, spinal injury, stuff like that. What circumstances require you to notify the driving and vehicle licensing agency, otherwise known as the DVLA? So, when you have to work abroad, A. B, when your vehicle needs an MOT certificate. C, when your health affects your driving. D, when you lend your vehicle to someone else. There is, because like I said, we got 5 this morning. I'm actually at Selby Centre tomorrow because we've got a short notice test. I'm doing a short notice test tomorrow. I think the test is 1:35. So I'm there tomorrow. I've got one next Wednesday, one next Thursday. That's where we got them. So they are there. But like I said, you've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. I've got C, 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 and C. Most of you are going for C, when your health affects your driving. Yeah, if your health changes, you have to notify the DVLA. They may revoke your license or put restrictions on it, depending on how bad your health is on that. And the other reason, if it comes up and the health issue isn't an option, it's going to be change of address, would be the other reason for contacting the DVLA. You're driving past parked cars. What should you do if you see a bicycle wheel sticking out between the cars? Accelerate past quickly and sound your horn. Slow down and be prepared to stop for a cyclist. Slow down and wave the cyclist across. Brake sharply and flash your headlights. I can't do that tomorrow, unfortunately. As much as I'm in North London, I'm actually teaching and ferry training in the morning, teaching early morning and then shooting after the driving test. And literally after that, I'm shooting back to Luton because I've got a couple of things that I need to do to sort out. Right, I've got a B, and again, B. Most of you are going for B's, and the answer is, slow down, B. Yeah, slow down, be prepared to stop for a cyclist on that. The other ones as well, let me just quickly show you why about safety. That's the safest option. Once you've got accelerate past quickly, it's going to be wrong. It does not lead to safety, at least a danger. Slow down and wave cyclists. You are not allowed to wave cyclists, and waving does not mean to go. You're judged or assessed being safe on your driving test. So how can you tell somebody else it's safe? So that's why that can't be safe. And brake, again, once you've got brake sharply in your answer, it's going to be wrong. So by default, you can rule these three out, and that one is going to be the correct answer all day long. And if you don't know what the answer is with your theory test, just do what I did. Work backwards, work out what it can't be. Don't always go looking for the right answer. If you don't know it, you don't know it. But go backwards, work out what it can't be. And sometimes you're left with a 50-50, or by default, just like now, you're left with one. You want to put a rear-facing baby seat on the front passenger seat. What must, in terms of that's legal requirement, you do if a passenger seat is protected by a frontal airbag. Put the child in an adult seatbelt. Put the child in an adult seatbelt. Deactivate the airbag. Ask the passenger to hold the baby, and then turn the seat to face sideways. I've got B's coming through and B. And the answer is B, deactivate airbag. If it goes off accidentally, it's a possible suffocation for the child. Most modern day cars have a separate airbag for each side, so you can just turn them off individually. What should you do to reduce the risk of your vehicle catching fire? So what should you do to reduce the risk of your vehicle catching fire? A, use fuel additives. B, keep water levels above maximum. C, check out any strong smells of fuel. And D, avoid driving with a full tank of fuel. All right, so let me know what you guys are putting for that. I've got a C. Again, you guys are going for C's. And the answer is C. Check out any strong smell of fuel. It's similar to what you do at home. If you smell gas, you'll check that out. Make sure there's not a gas leak. So make sure there's no leakage in your car. That's the reason why that is what it is. Right. When may you drive a car in this bus lane? So when may you drive a car in this bus lane? So always look at the image first. That's what I always say. Check the image first, because sometimes there's golden nuggets in there, and then go to the answer. So to get to the front of a traffic queue, to overtake a slow moving traffic, you may not use it at any time outside its hours of operation. So what are you guys going for? Let's make sure no one else type anything different in there. Right, I've got these coming through. These. And I've got a D from Eddie, and it is the, so Monday to Friday, 7 till 10, and 4 to 6 is when you can't use it. Anytime after 10 a.m., anytime after 6:30 p.m, you can use it. If you are on your driving lesson and you saw this and your driving test was after 10 but before 4, the examiner expects you to drive in the bus lane. It's a bog standard left-hand lane outside those times. So that's the reason why it comes up in the ferry test. So you know what times you can and can't use it, because you're going to need it for your driving test if you've got bus lanes near your driving test. And Wood Green has bus lanes. That's for William, by the way, because he's Wood Green. Right. Outside of this operation. So that one, that one. What does this sign mean? So always look at the image. Waiting restrictions apply. Waiting permitted. Clearway, no stopping. And national speed limit applies. So let me know what you guys think that is. Right, I've got A. I've got A, and you guys are going for A's. That sign is a waiting restriction. So it's going to be this one. This one, if it's no stopping, it'd be the red X. It'd be a red along here and then a red across here, which is no stopping. That's a waiting restriction. This also means you can drop off your passengers, pick up your passengers. You just can't wait for them. So you can stop to drop off, pick up, but you can't wait for your passengers. That's what the restriction is. What should you, again, what should you do when you're passing loose sheep on the road? Briefly sound your horn, herd them to the side of the road, go very slowly, pass quickly but quietly. Remember the safety option in that. So I've got C. C. And most of you are going for C's. It is C, go very slowly. And they normally word it, go very slowly and be prepared to stop on the real test. If you've got sheep or animals in the road, you want to go slowly. Which vehicle might have to take a different course from normal at a roundabout? Estate car, long vehicle, sports car, van. Basically, what that's saying is take a different route. So let's see. Typing it out, yes, go slow. Right, I've got, oops, put that back. And I've got B's, you guys are going for B's. All right, the answer is B, long vehicle, in other words, a lorry. They have to swing out to get round the corner, where you guys as driving, if you're taking driving lessons, will stay a meter from the curb. Which road user has caused a hazard? So again, look at the image first. So you got A, C, D, and B. So which one is causing a hazard? The moving car, the parked car, the car turning, the pedestrian waiting to cross. Nigerian food vendor, United Kingdom. Okay, hi, I just took my test, I passed. Thanks to you. you for all the videos and live classes. I hope I'm heading home to book a practical. I love that. Brilliant. Thank you for letting me know, and congratulations on passing. Let me just get that up. Nigerian food. Are you ready for a driving test, or are you going to book it and then work towards it? Let me know. Also, type in the chat, let me know if you were taking driving lessons while you was taking your theory test. It's on the prove a point somewhere. Right, let me get back to these answers. I've got A. Oh, let me just find. Right, I've got parked car. I've got B. 11A. Jan, oh, I think it's moving. Jan, you've got 11A. What's A? Yeah, parked car. Yep. I'm assuming you guys are putting A as the answer in terms of the parked car, not A as in the boxes. It's A that's caused the problem. First of all, he's on the zigzag. That's why I say look at the image first. He's on the zigzag. Forget about the parking bit. He's on the zigzag. Once you're on the zigzag, you're breaking the law. It's instant fine if you get caught. So it is a click that. Right, a police car is following you. What should you do? The police officer flashes the headlights and points to the left. So what should you do if he flashes lights, points to the left? Pull up on the left. Turn left at the next junction. Stop immediately. Move over to the left. It'd be interesting to see what you guys go for on this. Right, you haven't taken any lessons yet. Have you got driving experience? Because the question you got to ask yourself is, if you haven't taken lessons yet, how are you booking a driving test? Right, you guys are going for A. Is there anything different? Right, all of you are going for A. Pull up on the left. That's how the police get you to stop. Flash the lights and point to the left. It's you thereafter. You pull up on the left when safe to do so. What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? A, your engine will overheat. B, your view ahead will be reduced. C, your brakes will overheat. D, your fuel consumptions will be increased. Nigerian food, get back to me. Are you going to work towards your test that you're looking to book? Or have you got driving experience? Yes, I have a driving experience from my country. I need a refresher to know all the UK road rules, etc. I have driving experience. I'm assuming based on your name, you've had driving experience in Nigeria. Let me explain something to you. You're talking about I need a refresher. It's not refresher lessons you need driving lessons. It's going to be driving lessons to know all the UK road rules. Driving in your country is different from driving in the UK. You're going to have habits that the examiner's not going to accept. I'm telling you from experience, someone who comes from a different country to drive over here, it's not refresher lessons you need. You need to learn to drive safely in the control. It's a different mindset. So you're going to need driving lessons, not refresher lessons. It's two different things. So if you're looking for an instructor, be careful with the wording that you use. If you use a refresher and they're booked up, it's unlikely they're going to take you because they don't want something short and sweet. They want something long term. Say you want driving lessons, and then let him assess whether you need refresher lessons. But trust me, it's not refresher lessons you're going to need. It's going to be driving lessons. Once you get behind the wheel in the UK driving, trust me, it's going to be slightly different. So let me just get back to John. So what's the question? What will happen if you follow this vehicle too closely? Right, let's see what you're going for. Right, I've got B, and the answer, I've got a C there. Omen, tell me why you've gone for C. Your brakes will overheat. That makes no sense. If you're driving behind the lorry, your view's going to be I can't even speak today. Right, your view ahead will be reduced. When you drive behind something big, you always want to hold back. See their wing mirrors. If you can't see their wing mirrors, they can't see you. Never drive behind something big too closely. You're driving blind, which is what you do not want to be doing. What hazard should you be especially aware of if you're turning left into a side road? A, pedestrians, B, one-way street, C, traffic congestion, and D, parked vehicles. Yeah, like I said, be very careful when you're asking for an instructor and say refresher. If you say refresher, it's unlikely they're going to take you on because that's just short and sweet. Say you want driving lessons, and then when you get into the car, they can assess you and then take you from there. But trust me, you're going to want driving lessons. Let me know what part of the country you're in. So let me know what part of the country you're in, Nigerian food. Right, I've got A's. Let's make this bigger. A. And most of you are going for A's. It is pedestrians. The key word there is especially aware, because pedestrians are moving targets. Parked vehicles are parked. Once you assess that it's parked, you've really worked out how to get past it. Because these guys are moving constantly, you've got to keep reassessing what's happening with that. That's why it's pedestrians. Following a collision, a person has been injured. What would be a warning sign for shock? Warm, dry skin, slow pulse, flushed complexion, and rapid, shallow breathing. Manchester. That's one area I've not really been to, so I can't tell you what the roads are like. Yeah, it doesn't change. Let the instructor decide what you need. But with your mindset saying you need refresher lessons, you're making it sound like all I need to do is just a couple of lessons here and there, and you're going to be fine. I'm not saying don't book a driving test because we don't know when it's going to be. As I said, if you've got a driving test date, you've got a bargaining tool. You can move it forward, you can move it back if you can change the date. So I'm not saying don't do it, but get an instructor to advise you, because if you did get a test date and let's say it was a little bit too soon, you wasn't ready, he won't take you regardless. So there's no harm in booking it, but let your instructor know that you've got a date when you get one, and then go from there. So let me just see what these guys saying. I have a theory test on Saturday and have been following your videos, and they're very good. I hope to pass. Thank you for your words. I hope you pass too. And Saturday morning test. Let me know if you're struggling with anything in particular. Ask me any question, I can answer it while you're here. Right, so sign of shock, A, B, C or D. Okay, let's see what you guys are going for. Right, I've got a C. And oh, got quite a few C's here as well. So it's a mixture between D's and C's. The answer is D, rapid, shallow breathing, not flush complexion. Ah, interesting one, this one. Let's see if you guys know your signs. Right, you're approaching a junction where the traffic lights aren't working. What should you do when a police officer gives this signal? Continue ahead only, turn right only, turn left only, stop at the stop line. No problem. Let me know how you get on, finding an instructor. Let me know how you get on with your driving. Stay in touch. All right, I've got these. Has anyone gone for anything different? I've got a B. I'm assuming that B is for this question, because in between the other answers. I'm really struggling with traffic lights, especially the Pelican. Okay, let me come back to that. This, if you see an image with a flat palm on the ferry test or flat backhand, it means stop. She's saying stop. Because if you go back to the question, the golden nugget, the traffic lights aren't working. So it means stop. Flat palm, flat backhand, it means stop. You're arriving at an incident, there's no danger from fire or further collision and emergency service have been called. What's your first priority when attending to an unconscious motorcyclist? Check whether they have any broken bones. Check whether they have any bruising. Check whether they're breathing normally. Check whether they're bleeding. Right. I'm struggling with traffic lights, especially Pelicans. Pelicans is the only one that flashes. And the question that normally comes up with it on the theory test is, if you've got a flashing amber light at Pelican Crossing, what should you do? The answers give way to people already crossing. So if it's a flashing amber and for the theory test, you give way to people already crossing. The traffic lights, you always go from bottom to top. So it's going to be green at the bottom, it goes amber for stop and red for stop. And then it's going to go back to the bottom, red and amber together, get ready, and green for go. So just repeat that. Green for go, starting from the bottom. Amber on its own is stop for the theory test. And then red means stop. And then it's going to go red and amber together and then back down to green. Hopefully that helps you out with that. And Pelican's the only one that flashes. All the others are traffic light sequence. Right, so let's... Yes, Sexy D, you are. Hope you are well though. Hope you are fine. Right, C. I've got C's, and C is check whether they're breathing normal. Yeah, check the airways to make sure they're breathing properly. When would you use an emergency refuge area on a smart motorway? A smart motorway is just a digital information one. Obviously, you've got the signs, speed limits, change arrows, all the rest of it. As long as it's got digital signs, it's classed as a smart motorway because it can update itself, basically, is what they're saying. Right, if you think you'll be involved in a road rage incident, to stop and check where you are, to make a private phone call, in case of emergency or breakdown. Not a problem. Not a problem. Right, I've got these. Again, for those of you that struggle with the question, let me just show you how to break it down. When would you use an emergency refuge area on a smart motorway? Answer is D. It's got emergency in the answer. It doesn't always work, but you can shortlist it. It's got a tally. If it's got emergency there and it's got emergency there, It's a possible correct answer. This one, if you think you're involved in a road rage, you can't just stop on the emergency refuge. To stop and check where you are makes no sense because it's a motorway. You can't do that. To make a private phone call, you shouldn't be using your phone anyway, even though you have stopped on the motorway. But again, by default, if you eliminate these three, it's that one. But a little tip: emergency, tallies. You're driving at night, so it's nighttime. Remember, pick up the golden nuggets. It's nighttime. What should you do if you're dazzled by a vehicle behind you? Set your mirror to dazzle the other driver. Set your mirror to the anti-dazzle position. Switch your rear lights on and off, and brake sharply to stop. All right, let's see. So let's see what you guys are putting for that. Right, I've got B's. And I've got B. Answer is set your mirror to that and to that. It's going to be B. Again, you got dazzled here in the question. You got dazzle here, and you got dazzle there. So there's no dazzle in this one, no dazzle in that one. So eliminate those two. Again, like I said, shortlist both of them. Set your mirror to dazzle the other driver. Makes no sense to dazzle somebody else. And set your mirror to the anti-dazzle position. Makes sense. Safety. And dazzle just means being blinded. For those of you, this is what I'm saying about understanding the fairy test. Dazzle in driving terms just mean you're being blinded temporarily because of bright lights. So that's what dazzle means. What colour are the reflected studs between the lanes on the motorway? White, green, amber, red. So what colour are the reflective studs between the lanes on the motorway? White, green, amber, red. Bring it down a bit. It's the last question, I believe, as well. Right, so let's see what you guys are going for. Right, I've got A. I've got a B. Right, let's see if any more comes in with. Right, I've got A. Jan's gone for A. A. Right, I see a D. What's D? Red. Right, the answer is between the lanes is white. It's A. For those of you who's not watched the stud video that's on the channel, it gives you a simple method. I'll do it here for you now. The colours, the letters come in the correct order of the studs. R on the left, you're looking at RWA by the way. R on the left, which is red, that's your hard shoulder, which is that. W, if you read the question, what colour are the studs between the lanes? W is between the R and the A, that's why it's white, because it's between. A is amber on your right hand side, and then green is your slit road. And that's not a lane. So it says lanes there, your slit road is not a lane, that's why it doesn't come up in that. So I'll just repeat that. R's on the left, that's your hard shoulder left lane, red. White's in the middle, and A is amber, which is on your right next to the crash barrier. Right, so have you guys got any questions about the theory side of it? Because I'm going to do a hazard perception, a couple of clips. For those of you struggling with the hazard perception, just type yes in the chat box so I know. So if you struggle with hazard perception, just type yes. What speed for the end dual carriageway? I don't understand that question. I'm assuming you're saying what's the speed limit after the dual carriageway is finished? That depends on the road you're on, if that's what you're asking. It could be anything, it could be 30, 40, 50, it could be anything. So just because a dual carriageway ends, it doesn't mean to say the speed limit's going to change either. There's something that you need to think about on that. So like I said, it depends on the context that you are asking that question. Oh, quite a few of you got yes. What are you struggling with? If you can someone type that in, what are you struggling with, then I can address it. There's quite a few of you, yes. So what are you struggling with? All right, let me just quickly explain the hazard perception. Good luck with it. I've got my fingers crossed for you. Let me know how you get on. And you've got a morning one as well. So praying for you. Hopefully you nail it. Let me explain about the hazard perception. I mentioned earlier on, you got during the day, you may not see the color stars. You won't see it in the daytime. It's not for the daytime. It's for the night. So at night time, it glows. It gives you a visual clue where you are. But it doesn't make a difference whether you can see it in the day. You know where your lanes are. But it's not for the daytime. It's for the night. It's called cat's eyes. So when at night time, when your lights are on, it glows. So it looks like a cat's looking at you, but the color is looking at you. So it gives you a visual clue of where your car's positioned. That's what it's for. Hopefully that helps, Jen. Right, hazard perception. Mentioned 14 videos in total. 13 of them's got single hazards, score maximum of 5. One of them's got 2 hazards, score a maximum of 10. You need 44 out of 75 to pass it. Your average has to be 3 for every clip overall. If your average is below 3, you're going to fail. Do the maths, 14 threes. Plus one of them's got a double. So do the maths and you work that out. You got a countdown marker, starts at 5 and goes to 1. You need to get a score in between here. Not here, that's a 0, that's a 0. So you need to score anything 5 down, ideally 5, 4. Like I said, 3 or more is what you're looking for. I see conditions. Are you talking about stopping distances? If it's stopping distances, it's up to 10 times longer. Not sure about the timing to click to score. Right, I'm going to give you the tip here. So as I said, you've got the hazard and you need to score between here. It's not about you seeing the hazard. It sounds weird. It's not about you seeing the hazard. It's about you getting a score. Whether you're going to treat it like a game, that's how I explain it in the classroom, treat it like a game where you're trying to get a high score. You'll have to get a score. They don't know you've seen a hazard. They don't care if you've seen a hazard. They just want to know that click is registered within the 5/1. That's what you want to do. So when you see the problem, you want to be clicking twice, 2 clicks. Click once, then go 1, 2, click again. Some of you guys have been saying about the 3-click method. You can do the 3-click. I don't teach that because I don't see the point, but I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying my way is the best way either. I'm saying my way works, but I'm not saying it's the best way. That's what I teach in the classroom. And as I said, I don't have anyone fail the theory test for God knows how many years. So you go for 2 clicks. You're looking for anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So you're shifting left or right. That's what you're looking for. So anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction, because the click represents you checking the mirrors. That's why I say do driving lessons along with the theory, because you're going to use your hazard perception in real life driving. But that's what that's about. Now, some of you have contacted me and asking me how many clicks. Whether it's 9 clicks, 10 clicks. About 3 weeks ago, we tested it out. One of the you guys, Brandon it was, said 12 clicks, and we done 12 and it didn't kick us out. But it just happened to be on that video. I'm not sure 12 clicks will work on every video. Now, let me just explain something. For those of you who thinking, well, I can only click 9 times, 10 times, you're going into the hazard perception with the wrong mindset. Because guess what? if the hazard is towards the end of the video and you've done 10 clicks already, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to click again because you already think you clicked too many times. You've got to ask yourself, why are you asking or judging or counting 10 clicks? Then you've got enough stress as it is. So I'm just checking this. You've got enough stress as it is to concentrate on the hazards, and you're counting the amount of clicks you do. That's the wrong mindset. If you're clicking on the right stuff, it doesn't make a difference. You're not going to click too many times. If you click on random stuff that don't exist, yeah, it's going to add up. But that's not because you got X amount of clicks. It's because you're clicking on stuff that don't exist. So I'll just repeat that. Stop counting the amount of clicks. Stop worrying about the amount of clicks you can have. Click on the right stuff. You have nothing to worry about. So you click on the problems, you have nothing to worry about. You've got enough to deal with rather than counting clicks. So I'm going to do a demonstration and then we're going to review it back, and then you guys can ask me any questions based on that. So I'm going to do a CGI, but I'll do a real life clip first because that's what you guys are practicing on. Remember, on the real test, you're going to have all CGIs. So let's do this one. So car coming towards me, you click 1, 2, click again. Technically, I can't see around the bend and it says slow on the floor. So I'm going to click on that. 1, 2, because with a bend, you should be slowing down to go around the bend, accelerate out if it's safe to do so. Car's there. 1, 2. Again, I can't see around the bend, so I'm going to click on that. 1, 2. Looking in the distance, nothing's really going on, so there's nothing for me to click on at that point. Motorbike's coming. 1, 2. That's caused me to slow down. I think I'm well late on that, to be fair. That's caused me to slow down. That's the one that's going to be graded, if that makes sense. All the others was technically a red herring. Review clip. So as you can see, the car coming, I've clicked on that. But like I said, it's a red herring. You just are in real life driving, you wouldn't know that. So anything that's going to cause you to slow down, you slow down for bends in real life driving. And then, like I said before, you accelerate out of it if it's safe to do so. The yellow circles are potential hazards, but I'm not going to hit her, so there's no need for me to click on that. The yellow circles are just showing what could be a problem. Right, I'm going to pause it there. That's where I clicked. It was late, to be fair, but I've still seen it. That's where I'm going to click because the bike is a problem for me. That's why I've checked my mirrors. That's why I've clicked, and I go for 2 clicks just to make sure. And there's my second click. I think that's landed in the 1. They're always going to give you the highest click. Or the highest score, the highest click, the highest score. So if you clicked on a 5 and the 1 and the second click's on the 3, they're always going to give the highest mark. They're not going to downgrade you. That's why there's no benefit in clicking once. There's so much cons in clicking once, but lots of benefits in clicking twice. And that's how you work it. What's a red herring? A red herring is just stuff that could happen. The hazard perception is try to relate it to real life driving. It's possibles. Pedestrians walking on the pavements, road signs are possibles. They can't throw everything in the video, otherwise it just goes crazy. So the red herring basically is what could be a problem for you in real life driving, but you have to restrict the amount of clicks for the video. In real life, you see a problem, you just check mirror, problem, mirror, problem, mirror. But in the videos, you can't see a problem and click for every single thing. That's what it is. So the yellow circle is just potential problems, but not really an issue. Hopefully I'm explaining that right across camera. What's the name of your app? Driving Test Success. I've always stated that Driving Test Success is what I use in the classroom. It's always what we use. We get a good pass rate with that. My pass rate's really high with using it, so I don't see why changing it. So it's driving test success. There's other apps out there, the DVSA, the official DVSA one, and the Theory Test Pro, which the ones I've used in the past, I just find it clunky in using it. I just find the driving test success app, or otherwise the 4-in-1, is pretty much straightforward, pretty much simple. That's the reason why I use it. But I'm not saying others are bad. It's just the one that I use. And always go for paid version as well. Do not go for the free version. Not if you want to pass anyway. Don't go for the free version. Go for the paid version. The paid version is about $4.99. And you've got to ask yourself, what's $49 worth compared to failing the theory test? I think the theory test is what, £23 now? Right, so hopefully you guys understand that. I'm going to do a CGI. This is what you guys will get when you do your test. So CGI, let's just choose a random one that's got no stars. So again, scan the road from left to right, right to left. That car on my right is not a problem for me. He's on his side, I'm on my side. We're never going to meet unless he swerves. Again, when you're doing this, you should be scanning the car's on my side of the road there. I'm going to go again. I thought I was way too early on that. Car in the roundabout to my right. And there's a cyclist up ahead, but I'm not close enough just yet. So I'm going to click on the cyclist now. So his hands come out. I'm going to click again on that one. I think I've messed this one up totally, but that's life. Again, 4 out of 5. So let's see where they put the yellow circles. So there's nothing going on. There's nothing for me to hit. So there's no need for me to click the island. Because technically, the reason why, let me pause it. The reason why they put the yellow circle around the island, if somebody was standing there, that now becomes a problem because it's something that you can hit. But what they're showing you in real life driving, that's what you need to be checking, is the islands as well. That's what I mean by red herrings. In real life driving, you would check the islands. On the video, you don't have to click because there's nobody there. But if they stuck somebody there in the video, then you will have to click on it because obviously there's something you can hit physically. Again, as you're going forward, the car's on my side of the road, so I'm going to have to shift to the right. So it'd be main mirror, right door mirror to make sure no bikes are overtaking me at that point. And that click was for the car coming out the side road. This click is for the guy coming from my right on the roundabout. That's the reason why I've clicked on it. But again, it's not a problem, but I didn't know that. That's why I've clicked on it. And then when you're driving in real life, you should be looking, as far as you can see, that's why I spot the cyclist. Right, I'm going to pause it there. If you look carefully, hopefully you guys can see this. His hand started to come out. That's why I clicked. So that suggests he's signaling to come around something, and it's the little pavement bit that sticks out. That's the reason why it's coming out. So it's going to cause me to slow down or change direction. That's the reason why I clicked on it. And I went for 3 clicks on that because I thought I messed up. You never know if you messed up. So if you're in doubt, there's nothing wrong with doing 3 clicks. As much as I like to stick to my 2-click method, it's about me getting a score. That's all that matters. If I have to click 3 times or 4 times to make sure I get a score on that particular hazard, I'm going to do it because I don't want my average to drop below 3. And that's why I say to you guys, stop worrying about how many clicks you're doing. That's the wrong mindset to have. Just click on the problems. It doesn't matter. Because if I already done 8 clicks before that, would I click 3 times at that situation? Probably not. Because I'm not worried about how many clicks I'm doing, I'm clicking on problems that exist. I'm not going to go over the amount of clicks I'm allowed. Change the mindset. Click on problems that exist. You have no problems. If you're counting your clicks, you're going to have a problem. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense. Type yes if it does, or if you want one more demonstration. Right, so it seems like it makes sense because no one's coming through with, they still don't understand it. Right, so hopefully that makes a bit more sense. I'll do another demonstration next week as well. So if you are struggling with that, let me know. For those of you who have a test, sexy girl, sexy D, I think it was, got a test tomorrow. I've got my fingers crossed for you. Let me know how you get on. For those of you that can turn up next week, I think it's a bank holiday as well, 29th. If you can be here next next Monday, 4:30, make it, because I've got a big announcement if all goes well. I'm just dotting the I's, crossing the T's on that. It's going to help some of you who are struggling with their theory side of it and who needs help. CGI is just a real life clip. It's like the cartoons, you know, when they do CGI clips, that's all it is. It's real life. It's just not real life. It's cartoon animated, but it's a lot sharper than the real life videos. Let me see if I can show you one on here before you go. And you probably see what it's like. It's more cartoony than anything else. So let me just get this up. That's what CGI looks like. Lucy, next Tuesday, turn up on Monday. Get a last revision in, ask any questions that you may be struggling with. Yeah, good luck with that tomorrow. I hope you really, really nail that. Take your time, breathe, and remember the safety options. Yeah, that's what CGI looks like. And that's all your videos. When you take your real test, it's going to be all like that. And look back compared to this. That's one of the sharper real life clips. That's not CGI, that's real life. But it's hard to see the problems on that. That's why they went to CGIs. They stopped doing this because the failure rate on the real clips were really high. Since they've gone to CGI, the pass rate's gone up because it's easier to see the problems. So like I said, hopefully that's helped you guys. If not, I'm going to do it again next week anyway, just to make sure. And like I said, if you can turn up next week, I've got a big announcement for you guys. Otherwise, enjoy your bank holiday next week if you're not going to turn up. For those of you who've got a test this week, good luck with it. I've got my fingers crossed. Let me know how you get on. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and I will see you next week.